Get into it a little bit here, nothing too crazy though. Tons of torque, again 1,050 pound-feet of torque and 475 horsepower. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're gonna be going over a 2021 Ford F-350 Tremor with the Lariat interior package. But first and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lariat Tremor Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with this truck. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the Tremor, we have a 6.7 liter Power Stroke diesel. It's paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 475 horsepower and then 1,050 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of this particular Tremor. This one's finished in lithium gray, which looks absolutely fantastic. This is my new favorite color for the Tremor. You've got the Super Duty logo there at the front, and we've got the full LED lights here on the side, all blacked out grille with the darkened badging, and then we've got the black tow hooks there at the bottom with the fog lights, and then a body colored bumper. But overall, that is the front end. Coming around the side here, we've got 285mm tires wrapped around 18-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. And then the Tremor does have a 2-inch lift over a regular Super Duty. And then you do have the upgraded shocks that are also part of the Tremor package. You guys can see that whole setup right there. And then I love how the wheels are all blacked out, matches the rest of the sporty theme. Notice that your F-350 Lariat badge has been blacked out, including the Power Stroke and 6.7 liter badge. The top of the mirror has also been blacked out, and other than that, here's your full side view, and the stance on this truck is perfect. Here's a quick look at the setup here in the rear with the leaf springs and everything, and yeah, that's all for the back part. Now let's pop into the rear of the Tremor. So first off, the payload capacity is 3,380 pounds. And then notice this one does have a liner from the factory. We've got the LED bed lights here in the back as well. And this one also does have a tonneau cover from the factory. And then it's got Ford's bed step system on top of that. And, well, it's all for the bed. Now let's go to the rear of the Tremor. Notice you've got LED lights there for the cargo lights, and then down below for the tail lights as well. And then we've got our Tremor sticker here on the side. And then this is actually the housing for the blind spot monitoring system. Got the 2 exhaust tips sticking out the back, parking sensors all along the back end. And other than that, that is everything for the rest of the rear. So here's the door panel in the rear. Notice we've got the wood trim there in the center, and then here are the seats in the back. So we've got the full leather seats that are part of the Lariat package with the perforated leather in the center portion. And then you can lift up the seat for some extra storage. And then notice we got the floor mats right across. Couple cup holders. We've got heated seats here in the rear with the 12 volt, and then we do have a full power outlet. That pulls down to be a couple more cup holders, and well, that's everything for the back. Now that is pretty cool. Now here's the door panel in the front. So we've got all the leather here on the side, and then you've got more wood trim right there with all of the window controls. And then this one does have the mirror adjustments as well as the mirror extension. That's the cool part, the mirror extension. So other than that, we've got our memory seats just down below that area. One of the speakers for the sound system. I love the trim around the speaker. And then notice it says Super Duty right there. That's pretty cool. And then we do have the front seats here. So full leather here with a perforated leather down the center portion. And then you've got the stitching all across. And then we've got our power adjustment there on the side of the seat. Pedal layout in that little area. And then we've got our adjustment for the pedal, the parking brake. That's the tailgate drop down, light controls. And then you have lights outside either mirror. And then we do have the steering wheel adjustment. And there's one more look before we pop in. Here's our steering wheel in the Tremor. So we've got the leather wrapped around the whole steering wheel with the stitching there on the center portion. We have our volume controls on this side, controls for the center stack on the other side with our cruise control just down below. And then you've got your voice command and phone controls on top of that. You have the stock there for the turn signal and the windshield wipers. And then this does come with a column shifter for that 10-speed automatic. The drive mode select is there at the top. Then you do have the manual shift function there on the side, and it's all for the steering wheel. Here's the center stack. First off, we'll go over the drive modes. So we've got our normal, our tow haul, eco, slippery, deep snow and sand. And then it'll tell you that it recommends going to 4x4 for improved performance, of course. And then we have our raw crawl mode, and those are the different drive modes you can go through. And then as for the center screen itself, you can scroll through a few different menus. Notice we're on the off-road status. Just gives you different bits of information on the truck itself, but obviously the off-road status is going to be the most important thing since this is the Tremor package. Here just above the infotainment system, we've got a bunch of controls. So we have our diesel exhaust brake, that is for your stability control, hazard lights, off-road cruise control, that is your lane departure assistance, and then this is for the camera system. Now, as for the infotainment system, first off, we're gonna go over the camera system part of it. So notice that you've got the bird's eye view, and then that is a view at the front. And then if we press the infotainment system, we've got a bunch of other viewpoints as well. Notice we've got that kind of viewpoint right there. And then we do have a camera over the bed. And then this is for an auxiliary camera. And then finally, if we pop it into reverse, that's the reverse camera that'll pop up. And then you do have the zoom in function for the receiver hitch. As for the rest of the infotainment system, response time is really good with this infotainment system. I had this in my 2020 Raptor. Absolutely loved it. Didn't have any sort of complaints or anything about it. Again, responds great, and this has a plastic covering over it, and it's responding just fantastic. But something's cool is you can adjust with the sound. Notice that you can adjust all the levels and everything, and well, that's all for the infotainment system. We've got some analog controls for the radio. We do have a full power outlet right here, and then we've got our analog climate controls just down below that. It does have heated and cooled seats here for the front passengers. Driveline select, you've got the locker on the rear, and you've got your 2-wheel high, 4-wheel high, and then 4-wheel low. Trailer brake controls, and then our trailer backup system. And then this wood trim covers a wireless phone charger and then a USB, and then if you want it to go back, you just press it and then it'll pop back into place. Got some extra storage here with a couple cup holders. We have the center console. Opening it up, you guys can see even more storage space. And then we've got the dual glove box situation. It says Super Duty on the top of it. And then notice it has leather there at the very top, and now it's actually closed, but leather all around the dash. We've got the Ford auxiliary switches, which are always fun to play with. Obviously, it lets you add 6 different auxiliary items, and then we've got a full panoramic sunroof, and then we do have a power sliding window. It's just this control right here, and then the controls for center for just right there on the top portion. Here's our window sticker, and again, you can see lithium gray, really good looking color. You guys can see all of the standard equipment that comes here with the truck from the factory, and then we can see down below with the optional equipment this particular one has. And then finally finishing things off, we can see the total MSRP, $81,940. Notice that diesel is a $10,000 upgrade, which is pretty crazy. The Tremor package is $3,900. So like the Tremor seems like a bargain compared to the engine. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here in this F-350 Tremor. So first off, visibility of the hood, fantastic, just like every other Super Duty. You do kind of set up a little bit higher again because that 2-inch lift, so it does feel a little bit higher. There's your visibility through both the mirrors. I do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear. And that all being said, let's set off. So we are setting off here in the Tremor, and we're going for a very short drive. So we did get permission from the new owner to do a little drive in the truck, but obviously out of respect for the person that purchased this, I'm not going to go a super far distance. Obviously we don't want to put a ton of miles on this, and we want them to be able to break it in and do whatever they want with it once they end up taking delivery of this today. But first off, you guys know I'm a big fan of the Tremor package. The fact that you can buy a heavy duty that's capable off-road, but then also still can tow is just a huge plus to me. I think that's where Ram kind of misses the boat with the Power Wagon a little bit, because the Power Wagon's great off-road, but then it doesn't have a good towing capacity. Like this, you're still around 20,000 pounds, whereas a Power Wagon only tows about 10,000 pounds. So there's a huge difference between both of the trucks. But how does the Tremor drive? So first off, compared to a regular Super Duty, you do feel a little bit more with the tires. That's kind of expected because this does have off-road tires, but it's not insane by any means. It feels relatively normal, and we'll kind of get into it a little bit here. Nothing too crazy though. Tons of torque. Again, 1,050 pound-feet of torque and 475 horsepower. I know it's like the shortest drive ever, guys, but trust me, again, just out of respect of the new owner of the truck. Anyways, the truck's very smooth, even at higher speeds. I've driven these Tremors at higher speeds on the highway and everything. Really smooth truck, and the shocks just absorb everything. This is definitely the nicest riding Super Duty that you can get, is the Tremor package. And so yeah, everything from that perspective is just absolutely fantastic. And then in terms of the off-roading capability of the truck, it's great. Obviously they got rid of the air dam, so you have a little bit more clearance in the front end. You've got that lift, so you have even more clearance because of that. Just everything with this truck screams more off-road capability. Now, I haven't taken a Tremor off-road, but I have heard some things that people have said about this off-road, and it does a really good job. Now, it's not as good as the Power Wagon off-road because it doesn't have the sway bar disconnects, and it doesn't have the locking front and rear differential. It just has a locking rear, so there is that. But if you want something that's a little bit more well-rounded, that you can actually get a diesel engine in, because you cannot get a diesel in the Power Wagon, it's just too heavy of an engine to work with that truck. So if you want a truck that has a diesel that can tow, that has some off-road capability, that looks amazing, Tremor. And in this lithium gray, this is definitely, again, my favorite spec with a Tremor. I've never seen a truck that looks as good as this. And I guess we'll do one more thing. I'll show you guys the turning radius here while we are in the parking lot with the Tremor. So we'll go lock to lock so you guys can see just how the turning radius is with the truck. You can see, again, it's a heavy duty truck, not the greatest, but I mean, it's okay. Now, that's going to sum things up for our video on this 2021 Ford F-350 Tremor. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lariat Tremor Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with the Tremor. Check out the inventory link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.